Alright, so here are the simplified steps to becoming a missionary and making it to the mission field. Now here's the very first step: is you need to have sought God, you need to have spent time in prayer and fasting and really made sure, like, is this where He is leading you, or is it just something that you're thinking would be fun because you're trying to escape the job you hate, all of that, right? And also if it's just something that's been on your heart, it's like you need to take it to God and say, God, is this not the right thing? Is this not the right time? Like, give God the opportunity to say yes or no. You don't have to hear a voice out of the sky or anything like that, but it's important anytime that we do something of consequence, of great gravitas, and becoming a missionary is one of those huge steps. This is going to have a major impact on your life and also your trajectory. So make sure you're taking time to pray it over. Beyond that, once you've taken time to pray over this decision, you think it's something that God is leading you towards, then you're going to go and you're going to share with people that have invested in you spiritually, like your pastors, your church leaders, the people who it's their best interest to see you and have been walking with you through learning how to follow Jesus and you becoming a disciple that makes disciples. Now, in that conversation, you're looking for their feedback. Do they think that you really need to grow a little bit more in some areas of disciplines or stability, or wherever these people know you, they're able to see blind spots. So you want their feedback. And generally speaking, you're looking for their approval or their affirmation, unless you're in an unhealthy church or you have a really controlling church. There's some outliers like that where maybe if they were to disagree with this, you would want to challenge it. But generally speaking, these are people who want the best for you and you really do want their feedback and you want to prayerfully deeply consider their feedback. Now, once you've gone through these layers, now we're sharing with our community. And we're not telling everybody that you are going as a missionary and you're going to go and die and you're taking your coffin with you, casket, whatever. This is not a thus saith God, public announcement. This is just now starting to let friends and family and people that you connect with and work with, you're letting them know missions is something stirring on your heart. You're bringing them into the journey with you as you're figuring out what God is leading you towards. And again, it's important that you don't just tell them that you're not trying to overcommit and underdeliver. And I'll explain this a little bit more in the following video. But in this one, you're letting people into the story now and the thread of what God is doing, which then leads to what is the next step that you are doing. And that is, you are going to go on a short trip. You are going to go for a week or 6 weeks. More on this in the next video, which let me just mention now. Listen, I'm going to provide some really deep insights based on lived experience and from the many missionaries that I know that have made it to the field, based on what I have done to make it to the field long term, having raised support, having coached missionaries, in this big next video right after this that you need to watch. And if this video and that one's helpful, be sure to check the description for the link to the website with my resources. I have a workbook on how to find out where to go and prayerfully considering that, how to find really great authorities that can be trusted on the topic of missions. And finally, subscribe if this video is helpful. Okay, enough of that. So after you go on the short-term trip, then you come back. Then you pray, you evaluate, you consider, you assess, you share with those people that I mentioned earlier that are spiritual mentors in your life, and then you also take all that into consideration, and then you figure out, is this still something you think God is leading you towards, and you make that final decision, and that's then where you share with people that you feel called to go in this next season as a long-term missionary. All right, then once you've confirmed this, now we got to figure out who are you going with. And you're going to figure out your team, your network, your missions agency, who you're going to run with. They're going to do support, kind of like your management for the funds and all of that. They're going to help you get trained. They're going to make sure you learn the language and that you get with a healthy team and that you learn how to do disciple making in a foreign context. That being said, you guys, after all of that, you're going to make it to the field. You're going to be learning the language. You're going to be working with a team, boots on the ground, learning as you go, figuring out how to do church planting and disciple making movements in an unreached context. Now, I've way oversimplified this, but it's really not that complicated. It's much easier to share all the steps than it is to actually see you through them all, because there is a lot of potential obstacles along the way, and I want to share all of those obstacles with solutions around them in this next video right here.